What up, what up, what up? This is RJ Fantasy Football Talk, and we're back again. You already know who it is. Rodney. This is JJ.
Yeah.
What's going on, bruh?
Hey, what's going on? A little slow on the button, so hopefully they heard you over the music. But yeah, we back and we're doing it again. It's good to be here. How are you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. Good week. I mean, it won't good
Uh,
for me in fantasy, but it's all good, though. I ain't
how
mad.
bad was it?
I went 2-4,
2-4.
but
Same.
it's good, though. I'm still in the thick of things in most leagues. Out of 6, it's only one, and I'm like 1-5. But in that league, I can make up some run. I can make a little run and get in the playoffs. So I'm gonna make my run. I ain't too worried about it. So I'm good. Oh, and I lost to you this week in one. But
was that this week?
Yeah, it was just good. So it's all good.
I was just gonna leave it at I went 5-2 this week. So for the second, not against you. I'm just saying overall, for the second week in a row, I won 5 games because I started off the year winning 2 games, 3 games. So I hopefully am turning the corner. But I'm not gonna put you all out there on badness because I'm gonna show the rest of the internet that you are good at one thing, making picks. For the last 2 weeks, you are the top winner in picking the games. So I'm still up 60 games to your 51, but it's becoming more of a contest. So you win it. You win it.
I will let the people know in that league that I lost to you in.
Yeah,
there's this thing that we got. So if he beats me in a regular season, I normally beat him in the championship. So it's like a little thing we have going over there because we're always in the championship.
So you intentionally lost so you could win the championship?
No. I wanted to win, but I mean the loss is cool, so I ain't worried about it. I can get that back.
You'll still be okay in that league. I think you're in second in your division. I'm in first in mine, but for those that don't know, in that division, in that particular league, there's this curse, and the person in front of you has met the requirements to be eliminated by that curse. So
I'm not even worried about that. So I'll be there when
he's no competition for you. So I should see you in a championship game. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes.
We always there, so it don't matter.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, people, you know how we do. We start off. We had a little fun first, then we jump to the news. But we're gonna start off with some top quarterbacks for the week. I got a lot of quarterbacks this week, man. I got more than a normal 3. So, first I'm gonna shout out Matt Ryan. Big game.
Finally came alive.
Yes, he did. 30 of 40, 371, 4 touchdowns. Monster game. He won me a game. I can appreciate it. Phillip Rivers, they were down big, but Phillip Rivers came back. 29 of 44, 371, 3 touchdowns. Ryan Tannehill. When I tell you Ryan Tannehill balled out, that touchdown pass, when he had to come down, great throw. 30 for 41, 364, 4 touchdowns. Deshaun Watson balled out. 28, 37, 335, 4 touchdowns. I'm going to give a special shout out, though, to this guy. They was down on my guy last week after he got put to the bench in that Miami game. He came out and he showed him what time it is. Oh, Jimmy G. You heard what I said. Jimmy with a capital J and a G. 23 of 33, 268, 3 touchdowns. Big victory over the Rams. You know how we do. What you got for me?
So you went over 3 just so you could throw Jimmy G out there?
I got a special star by his name, so you already know what time it is with that. Yes.
Well, hey, you literally hit all the ones on my list. Did you say Phillip Rivers?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so that's it. That's the one I thought you might not have said. I actually wrote down your boy Jimmy G just in case you didn't do it. I was gonna give him a special shout out. So you good there.
Good. I'm glad you gave him a special.
So since you said are the good quarterbacks, I'm gonna talk about a quarterback that maybe wasn't so good. And the first one is Andy Dalton, who came in for Dak Prescott and looked awful. 266 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. They looked awful Monday night against the Cardinals. and he was a big reason why. So I know some people picked him up in need of a quarterback. He did not work out well for you. So we're going to talk a bit about the Cowboys at the second half of the show. So we'll bring him back up again and what you should do, or even if you should try to play Andy Dalton anymore. But the other guy is somebody we've been big on for the first 4 weeks, and the last 2 weeks,
he's been terrible.
He has. It's a bad situation for my man Josh Allen. He in his 4 wins threw for over 71%. Only had 1 interception, and the last 2 games where they lost, he's been under 60%, and he's thrown 3 interceptions. But the good news for Josh Allen, I'm not jumping completely off the bandwagon yet because next week y'all play the Jets. And so I think we'll go back to seeing good Josh Allen, next week because it's the Jets. How can he look bad against them?
He can't look bad against the Jets, but that also, you remember the first game he lost? And we was on the phone talking, and we were like, are we finally seeing the real Josh Allen? And we kind of knew, and I said all along that the schedule is going to get tough for him, and we're going to see what type of quarterback he is. So the thing is, he showed those last 2 games. He made a lot of key mistakes.
He still got a lot to learn, real.
He got a lot to learn, but I'm not jumping off of it yet because I jumped on late, but I'm not jumping off of it yet. I'm
going to blame it on the rain, to quote Millie Vanilli, and say he gets better. But we got our first question, Live HD. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you with us. He says, is Robert Woods and Debo Samuel a good start?
Definitely.
I know you're going to say Debo's always a good start, right? You're the 49ers.
Debo's always a good start. Come on, man. You know that. You got but all seriousness, Robert Woods is definitely a good start. Debo is definitely a good start. I think because we play New England, they don't have a good defense this year. They lost half their defense to COVID. People just not opting out. So I think Debo is going to have a good game. And the way they're using Debo, the Yak boys, it's crazy. So Robert Woods always going to get his. So definitely.
Hey, New England lost to the Broncos. So right now, I'm starting anybody. If you can't do well against them, whatever. So yeah, I'm with you on Debo. Now that he's back with a healthy foot, I think he's been picking it up since he's been in. So I think he's going to continue his progress. I don't think we've seen our best Debo game by far yet.
Oh,
so
no, not
he's going to go. And I love Robert Woods. I like Robert Woods. I love Cooper Kupp. They're both going to always be the main cogs in the offense. Higbee's been having some good games, but I don't think you ever sit Robert Woods. I have him in one of my leagues, and he is relegated as a starter. The only time he's not a starter is when he's on his bye week. Otherwise, there's some guys that I say you never take out of your starting lineup. Robert Woods and Debo Samuels are both those guys. So, yeah.
Definitely. I agree with you.
Thanks for the question. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, so that's court. We did our impact players for quarterbacks. Who you got on your running back list?
Derrick Henry. I mean,
always, right?
do anybody want to tackle him? I mean, geez.
Hey, after he stiff-armed Josh Norman the other week, and nobody stepped 212 yards. Like, nah, you got this. Go ahead.
I mean, he had 212, 2 touchdowns.
Right.
We finally had a Kenyon Drake sighting. I mean, we've been missing him. Where he been at? We tried to find him a couple weeks ago, but he had a late touchdown, put him at 164, 2 touchdowns. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Now, he had a really, really good game. I don't know if it was because he knows he about to start sharing load or what. I don't know, but he went for 161, and he definitely had a good game. DeAndre Swift, 116, 2 touchdowns. I think this game they have to let him get 25 carries. 20, I ain't even going to say 25, but at least 20 carries a game. Because the kid is good. I mean, Adrian Peterson was nice. It was a good story.
Right.
But this kid is the truth. He's the guy they need to put the ball in his hand.
We've been kind of waiting for DeAndre Swift to take off because it's, from the offseason, there was a lot of hype around him because Kerryon Johnson's typically always hurt. And Adrian, when they signed Adrian Peterson, it's like he's almost – is he 40? He's close to 40 right now. So it's like DeAndre Swift hopefully continues that kind of progress. So.
Yeah. So I mean, I just feel like, and I did read some news earlier that if the coach don't win to this week against the Jags,
right,
that he could be fired. So I think if he's a smart guy, he's not gonna let Adrian Peterson start because this kid, we all know what he did in college. This kid was good in college. They have to get him the ball. They have to.
Hopefully. So. Yeah, they need to. Live HD back, he says, should I start Le'Veon Bell? I'm going to say no.
No.
I say absolutely not. You want to see, unless you're like desperate at running back, like you have some bye weeks you got to fill, you want to see what Le'Veon, we have no idea what they're going to do with that offense. And Clyde just gave the example last week, because for those that watch the Saturday show, my bad if you listened to me. I didn't think Clyde was going to have a good game because the Bills are supposedly good at run defense, and Clyde was like, I don't care about none of that. And so with the show he put on, I wouldn't start Le'Veon Bell until I actually seen them in action.
I honestly feel like Le'Veon gonna be the backup anyway. I don't think he comes in. I mean, they drafted Clyde for a reason, and they drafted him to be the lead back. And I just think they have to give him an opportunity because if you watch their game last week, they ran the ball more than they normally would. So they gave him his carries. So I think if he gets his carries, he's definitely gonna do what he did last week.
Nah.
They just got to learn how to blend it a little bit better, honestly. So I just feel like I wouldn't start Le'Veon because you don't know what you get.
Yeah,
it's like the Fournette situation. Like we still don't know it's not as worse yet, but we just don't know what you're getting from Le'Veon yet in that offense. So I wouldn't though.
All right, we got a couple of more questions. One of them I know you can't wait to hear. But first I'll go to Trey S. Good evening. Welcome to the show. He says he has a couple of questions this week. First, in the PPR league, DeAndre Swift or Melvin Gordon? I'm going to say DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift, hands down. Now, think about it. Detroit is playing Atlanta. So, I think there's going to be a lot of offense in that game, and I really want him. I'm still Melvin Gordon scared. I know that Denver says they're not going to do anything. The NFL might put a suspension on him. It doesn't look like it's going to be this week so far, but I'm still not convinced I want to start him over Phillip Lindsay. That's another one of those I want to wait and see what happens. Plus, Denver's playing Kansas City right now, and so, that's going to be a problem.
Well, I feel like, it's not a good matchup for Gordon, but I also think at the end of the day, they're going to have to keep up with them. So, and then, Gordon's going to stay on the field all three downs.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Well, I could be wrong, but I think that Lindsey being back healthy, I think he's going to take in a little bit more of that action. It's hard to say. I don't know yet. We'll see how it goes. Melvin Gordon was the dominant guy when they were both healthy, but that was only really a game, so you didn't really get a lot of film to watch on that. But yeah, I think Melvin Gordon, as long as he's not suspended, probably will be the guy you see on the field the most. But I could see it be a pretty even Swift, though. But yeah, regardless, I'm with you. I'm going Swift on that one.
I'm going Swift on
his next question is also full PPR. You got to choose one. Devin Singletary, DeAndre Swift, Brandon Cooks, or Deontay Johnson if he plays. Even if he plays, I automatically eliminated Deontay Johnson from that list because he's just been completely unreliable. I hope you agree with me. So between Singletary, Swift, and Brandon Cooks, who do you got?
Singletary, Swift, and Brandon Cooks. Singletary has a great matchup against the Jets.
Yeah.
I'm half tempted to say Singletary, but my only problem with that is they don't run the ball enough in Buffalo. And Singletary doesn't. I argue with Keith all the time about this. Singletary was good the last 6 games last year. I feel like they don't give him the opportunity.
I expected a lot more from him. I'm with you so far. Yeah.
So, but the matchup is there. The matchup is definitely there. Swift, I just think it's Swift's time. And Cook, we don't know. With that Houston offense,
he's been on point the last 2 weeks.
2 weeks, but I mean, he's so injury prone. I would be scared. So, but if I'm picking one, I'm with I think a safe bet, honestly, for me. So I think Swift is a safer bet, but I do like Singletary's matchup. I will say that. I just think they have to run the ball,
right?
Which Josh Allen does more of that than Singletary does. So, for me,
like I said, again, Deontay Johnson is automatically off that list for me. I'm kind of with you on. I think Brandon Cooks has the chance for a really good game this week, and Houston has been, really coming on strong. But if I have to pick one, I'm trying to think because Brandon Cooks has seemed to tempt me just because of they're playing against Green Bay. I think they're gonna have to have a really good running game on that. For me, I don't like Devin Singletary, and the reason I say that is because Zach Moss is back now, and so I think that could be a problem for him. I do like his matchup, though. I do like the matchup.
Matchup is definitely there,
but we haven't really. I can't. I think I mentioned this either last week or on one of our conversations. I can't figure out the Buffalo run game. So for me, I kind of want to stay away from that. I like Swift. Swift is my first choice. Brandon Cooks is my second, and then I go Devin Singletary and Deontay Johnson after that.
I can agree with you on that. I'm just afraid I'm afraid Brandon Cooks. He's always he gets hurt at some point. So it's like he's been playing good the last 2 weeks. I will say that. Him and Will Fuller.
Fuller. We haven't talked wide receivers yet, but Will Fuller has been the truth. And still healthy all the way in week 6. So, all right.
You better knock on somebody's wood, I tell you that.
Hold up. There we go.
Yeah, that works too. So,
Now, the guy you've been waiting to hear from, he's here. Shaq is with us. Guess what time it is? He said. All right. He says, in all seriousness, he has a trade on the table. Adam Thielen for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's in need of a wide receiver. He has Rojo, Gordon, and Jacobs as his other running backs.
I'm doing that immediately.
I was about to say Adam Thielen is right now the top dude out there, so I do that. Especially, sadly, I don't know if you mentioned it when you did running back. 3 straight weeks of Rojo having 100-yard games.
Yeah.
I love some Leonard Fournette. I hate it when he got traded to Tampa Bay because, Ronald Jones is looking good. So
he balling.
Leonard Fournette's going to have some problems even when he's healthy. But you have him. You have Gordon, who, worst case scenario, is suspended for 2 weeks at some point. And, of course, Josh Jacobs. You don't need Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So, I'm with you. I'm doing that instantly. He says, Shaq also says that he has Juju, Allen, and Devontae Parker. I'm assuming that Devontae Parker, I'm guessing, as his other wide receivers. So, I think you need that Adam Thielen up there. So.
And Devontae Parker on the bye this week, so you probably would need that anyway. So I would do that immediately. So,
yeah. And Treya says, appreciate it. And, hey, no problem. Appreciate you asking the questions, everybody. So, thanks for the show. So, let's see, where were we?
We was at receivers and tight ends.
All right, who you got?
I got Justin Jeffries, monster game, 9 receptions, 166, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He is the bona fide second receiver out there to Thielen. Him and Thielen are probably the best. I ain't gonna say the best, but they're up there as one of those 1-2 combinations as receivers that you want to get. Julio Jones, we had a Julio Jones sighting. He's back.
Finally, right?
8 receptions, 137, 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Keelan Cole, 6 receptions, 143. He didn't have any touchdowns, but he definitely showed out. William Fuller, 6 receptions, 123 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, these guys, everybody I pick certain guys every week. I try not to pick the same ones, but these 4 guys stood out to me the most. Definitely Julio, because Julio's been hurt most of the season, and he hasn't really been there, but he showed why he's still a top 5 receiver.
It's not a coincidence that he comes back and they finally get their first win.
Definitely.
Surprisingly against the Vikings, because I didn't think they had a shot at that game. But he's a big part of why that offense works. Shaq says thanks for that. Anytime. I still need you to make a Mike Evans comment though, because that's why we bring you on every week. So,
Lord.
I had those wide receivers as well. Also, speaking of guys who we haven't seen, Christian Kirk, if you still had him on your team. Crazy part was he had I think just 2 catches if I remember correctly, but they were for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he had a surprisingly big game. Well, first off, the fact that Kyler Murray only completed 9 passes that night. The fact that he was able to get 2 touchdowns is amazing.
One was like a flip play by the end zone, and the other one was a bomb that which was a great catch because he did.
He kind of overthrew him a little bit.
But he grabbed it with the fingertip and brung it in. So that play was awesome. Like when he caught that ball, and he caught it in stride, but he had to stretch for it a little bit, but it came to him, though, so I ain't mad at him.
Sadly, probably everybody had him on the bench or somewhere because, like, Christian Kirk has been completely absentee. So
yes. Yeah. So I do got some tight ends, though. So we definitely got some tight ends. We got Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce, 5 for 65 yards, 2 touchdowns, definitely played. We had a Rob Gronkowski sighting. We had a Gronk sighting.
Didn't we?
Yes. I don't know what it's going to lead up to, but we had a Gronk sighting.
Yeah.
5 receptions, 78 yards, and 1 touchdown. And excuse me if I get this wrong, people, but we had a guy out in Tennessee. His name is Anthony
Ferkser.
Ferkser, that's his name.
Yeah.
8 receptions, 113 yards, and 1 touchdown. And then we got the greatest tight end of all time, the greatest tight end in the league. Old Georgie. They call him Georgie. I call him Kittles. 7 receptions, 109, and a monster touchdown. I know you seen that 4th and 2. You crossed the middle, stiffed on that guy. He was gone. Hey, I don't want to say no more. We already know what time it is.
Yeah, second best tight end in the game after Travis Kelce with his 65 yards and 2 touchdowns.
You tripping.
We got another couple of comments. Anita Bracey back in effect. She asked how y'all been doing. Hey, we doing great. Good to see you. Well, see your name. I can't see you personally, but hey, good to have you back on the show. But Shaq says that he wasn't going to bring up the top 5 wide receiver in the game, but let's have this argument. No.
No, we're not going to do
that.
Especially
since you know who y'all playing this week. It ain't going to be no top 5 wide receivers because, we took down the Chiefs. We can take down Tampa Bay. So, John Gruden is going back to his place where he won a championship, but he's going there with the right team this time. So, Actually, they're not even going to Tampa Bay. Y'all have to come to Las Vegas. So, it's our game. So, y'all, you know what's up, chat.
Oh, yeah. So, those are my tight ends.
Yeah, I had the same guys, so I've got nothing to add.
So, then, we got some people that you could use this week. Actually, I'm going to show some love to some tight ends. I got a few tight ends on my waiver wire list that you can pick up.
Okay.
Dallas Goedert is one. Once he should clear IR this week. If not, it's next week.
I hope so, because I picked him up.
Me too. I picked him up in like a couple of leagues. With Ertz out for the next 3 to 4 games, he's definitely gonna get that work. Boston Scott is gonna get that work with the injury to Miles Sanders. And we got Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas scored a touchdown last week.
Okay.
Definitely, I think you have Logan Thomas. You got Scary Terry, a few guys out there in Washington, but I think Logan Thomas is coming along. Former quarterback coming along. And he definitely could, because tight end is it's really no good tight ends outside of your top 3 or 4. So I mean, you scratching for tight ends at this point.
Right.
And I'm gonna give y'all one. You can thank me first. Jermichael Hastings is somebody to look out for, even though McKinnon is the guy to have. But Hastings is a guy to look out for. because obviously we lost Mustard 3 to 4. He's going to be gone 3 to 4 weeks, so he's going on IR. So those are the guys definitely you could pick up. It definitely, I would look at those. There's a few more out there, but those are the ones I think you probably can get right now, because at this point I think Goddard is only owned at 41% in Yahoo, and Boston Scott is only owned at like 13%. So you definitely can get those guys.
I would say don't fall for the Boston Scott hype.
Me
only
either.
Because wasn't Miles Sanders missing at the beginning of the year? And what did Boston Scott do? But I know he's one of the top guys that's getting picked off. For me, I'm like, nah, I'm going to pass on him. But I feel you. J.D. Mckanek, I think it's a really good pickup. He's managed to, stay relevant despite the fact that the Washington football team is good. But he's really big in their passing game, so I think that what keeps him alive. And since they're going to keep losing, I think he's good. I had another tight end I threw in. We talked about Anthony Fertzer as a conditional waiver pick up if Jonnu Smith doesn't play. I also would say Darren Fales is another conditional pickup that you do, but only if Jordan Atkins isn't playing. We actually even saw last year that Darren Fales put up some pretty good numbers at the end of the year when they needed him to. I was surprised at how old he was, but he can get it done. So I think Darren Fales potentially, if like you said, tight ends is really short right now. So
especially with bye weeks coming up and injuries and stuff like that, definitely. Outside of like Kittles and Kelsey, and because I know there's another tight end on the bye. Baltimore's tight ends on the bye this week, so. Right. Those are tight ends you can pick up to kind of fill your need that you may need at tight end this week. Right. I definitely did. I picked up Jimmy Graham this week, he got a pretty good matchup. And he's been playing pretty well lately. He was second in targets anyway on the team. So I think him obviously would be a good pickup too. So check out Jimmy Graham.
Would you pick up Richard Rodgers if Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert aren't playing this week for Philadelphia?
I would, just because of the fact that they don't have any real receivers. Right. Deshaun Jackson supposed to come back this week, but
he's one of those guys that's out there if you need him, but I can't get excited about him. But whatever. We have more comments from Shaq. He says, I'm gonna read it. People bring up OBJ for not putting up numbers because Eli was old and trash, and Baker is trash, so he gets a pass. But Mike Evans has played with Josh McCown and Jameis and Mike Glennon. All 1,000-yard seasons. Make it make sense, please. And then is unrelated. He also says no love for Boston Scott this week, and I say no love at all for Boston Scott for me.
No. Mike Evans. And this might hurt some people's feelings, but I feel like Mike Evans played better with Jameis Winston than he did. Because than Tom Brady. Jameis Winston would throw that ball around like it was nothing because that's all he knew. Brady is more of a he a dink and dunk type of quarterback now. So he's not gonna throw it down the field like that because that's just he in his older age he can't. I ain't saying he ain't got the strength, but he ain't got it like that. So most of Mike Evans' touchdowns have been under 20 yards this year. So I will say Mike Evans, I'm not going to give him top 5 receivers, Shaq, because he's not. But he's definitely top 7. I give him top 7 if that makes you happy. But he has played with some bad quarterbacks.
He's had some bad ones.
He's just talented, but I'm not even getting like OBJ for me does not. OBJ 2 weeks ago played an excellent football game. Right. And I'm starting to realize he's not the problem. We had this conversation before we came on. He's not the problem. Baker Mayfield's the problem there. So OBJ is not a top 5 receiver, but OBJ is still a top 10 in most people's mind, for me.
I would say that game a couple of weeks ago might make me think he's possibly, but I'm going to keep the conversation in fantasy football and say I don't think OBJ is top 10.
In fantasy?
No.
Well, obviously because of his quarterback.
Yeah, because of his quarterback. No, like I said, I'm going to keep it fantasy related. in that regard, I don't think OBJ is top 10 because I don't think you can't count on his quarterback. You can't count on him.
I feel like, but if he
was on another team, I think he's instantly top 10.
He's definitely a top.
Not 10. Just fantasy football, but maybe he's getting up there. But I think maybe even still, fantasy aside, just NFL, OBJ might still be. But I do kind of agree with what Shaq is saying about the fact that Mike Evans has been consistently good no matter who his quarterback is.
That's true. And I will give him that.
I can't argue against that.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, he's playing with Brady this year, which he should be even better this year with Brady because Brady's a better quarterback than Jameis Winston, obviously. But he should be doing what he's doing now anyway. But playing with those quarterbacks he played with and still put up 1,000 yards, that just shows that he's talented and he's a really good receiver. So I ain't mad at Shaq. I mean, you got to ride for your team. I ain't mad at you, bro.
So Shaq says that we all agree then Mike Evans is higher than OBJ.
So, yeah, definitely. I would say that, yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that
now. I wouldn't argue that at all.
I would. No. At least not with put them both on, equal quarterbacks. I think it becomes a better competition. But I still think I would go Mike Evans. My mind is telling me I still go Mike Evans.
I would still go Mike Evans too. I think Mike Evans he's bigger. Like he's a bigger receiver. So he definitely can. I'm not saying he's better. He's better than OBJ, but OBJ, if like you said, if he was in the right situation where he could be in like he needs a really good quarterback, honestly, for him to kind of do. And Baker's not the answer, but that's making OBJ a non-top 10 fantasy football player right now as far as receivers. So, man.
All right. Any other waiver claims? Or we get to hold up. I was gonna say, we get to our big news for this week. But we have a question from Clamped EZ. Welcome to the show. He says, I got offered Keenan Allen for Mike Davis. Yes, accept it right now. Stop listening to us and go say yes.
And go do it. Oh, yeah.
Go do it right now because Mike Davis might have another 2 weeks before CMC gets back. So before this person changes their mind, I'm not even going to let Rodney, you can't answer, but accept this trade and keep it rolling.
Yeah, you accept the trade because I hope the person that you trade with now listening.
Right.
But I hope he is listening. Subscribe to RJ Fantasy Football Talk. It's up the top. You see it.
Right.
But Mike Davis he literally got like 1 week left because next Thursday they say CMC is coming back. So I will make that trade yesterday. So if he would offer to you, you need to do it right now.
I think Mike Davis has shown he's talented enough to still be relevant, but he ain't going to be putting up the numbers that he's putting up right now once CMC gets in there. So, get that done as soon as possible. Thanks for the question.
But I got a question for you. What do they do with Mike Davis being that CMC is coming back?
I don't know. It's like he's obviously really good. And shame on the teams that let him go. Chicago and where else was he? I can't think of right now. But, they obviously did not use him correctly because he's been killing it in that offense. That's why I said I think they still use him, but they're not going to start a running back committee with CMC at all. So, I think he goes to almost Mike Davis.
Do you trade him to get pieces back?
If you can. But for me, I wouldn't do a trade because, CMC's coming back. So
but he's at literally.
But if I can trade him, in fact, honestly, I would have probably tried to trade Mike Davis like a week or two ago.
Because the trade deadline is week 8, so you still got one more week. You got this weekend and next week. So I think what you can do is because his value is so high right now.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure you can get abundance of picks. You can get a second round pick for him right now. You probably can get some players for him. And I'm pretty sure there's a team out there that could use a Mike Davis right now.
Okay, hold up for a second. We're going to the actual NFL. Would you trade Mike Davis? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought this was fantasy football. Would you trade Mike Davis? Okay, my bad.
That's your question.
Okay. Okay, well that's different. Because I took it with fantasy football player trade Mike Davis, which is I would have. But should the Panthers trade Mike Davis?
Yeah.
Like you said, you might be able to get some good stuff for him. I might not yet, only because you can never have too many good running backs. It depends on I don't know his contract off the top of my head, but I'm guessing they're not paying him a lot. So if you can keep him, I would until a really good offer. I think and this is a fantasy football mentality, but I think it works for the NFL also. Anybody is tradable if the right offer comes along, and
That's
so I would keep my ears open. But I think you want to keep a Mike Davis if you can for the right price, because he's obviously really tight and you know you can use him when you need to. But yeah.
Okay.
But I listen to trades, most definitely. By the way, Clan
Now,
BT says thank you for the help, and hey, thank you for watching. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, tell everybody. We here. We love having these conversations. Back with you.
Now, if you're doing fantasy, definitely trade him. Like I'm trying to get a trade for him now.
Uh-huh.
Like in one of our leagues. So
Right.
definitely in fantasy, I'm trying to trade. So, but yeah, I mean, you got to trade him now because his value is really high. But other than that, I mean, yeah, you got to sucker somebody first to trade him in fantasy because you don't get like a week out of him. But yeah, okay.
Right.
So, yeah. We got some news. We got a lot of news tonight, man.
Yeah, this was a crazy week. It's like, seriously, what is happening in the NFL where everything fell apart? Well, it's just crazy. It was just a crazy week. What story did you want to start with?
We're going to keep the good ones for later.
Okay.
But
I like them all.
I like them all too, but
right.
we're going to start with Tua being named the starting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. Okay. I have my feeling, but I'm going to let you go first. What's your feeling on it?
On the Dolphins?
Starting Tua.
We knew it was coming, right? Because in the offseason, we said if you draft Tua, draft Fitzpatrick. If you draft Fitzpatrick, draft Tua. They're combined into one wide receiver, because it was like at some point the Dolphins are going to be really bad, and they're going to switch over to Tua to see what they have in them. The crazy part of it was the Dolphins were never really bad. They're literally one game out of first place in their division, and they still made the move. And so Fitzpatrick was saying that he's heartbroken right now because he felt like it was his team, and he was honestly doing really well. I actually wrote down his stats.
His numbers were really good.
His numbers were really good. He was throwing over 70%. He was throwing like 70% completion, 1,535 yards, 10 touchdowns. He had the 7 interceptions, but he's Fitzmagic, so you expect that to happen. But like I said, it was expected that they go to Tua. My question is, if I were a Fitzpatrick owner, do I still hold on to him in hopes that he gets that job back? I don't know. I think Tua has to get hurt or do like really bad for Fitzpatrick to get there. And so I guess Tua is your guy, but I don't think I want to start Tua on my fantasy football teams unless it's a bye week fill in. What you feel?
I feel like Fitzpatrick should have still been a starter.
Yeah.
But I feel like what they're doing is they're seeing what Justin Herbert, they're seeing what all these other young quarterbacks are doing around the league, and they want to get in on that. They want to get in on the fact that, because like I was telling somebody the other day, he reminds you of a Kyler Murray a little bit in a sense, because both of them are small. They run around a little bit. So they're seeing what Arizona is doing with Kyler Murray, and they saying, oh, wow, maybe we can get that same spark. But my thing is this. They are 3-3 with Fitzpatrick. So my thing is, why not stick with him until he starts losing?
Right.
But I see what they want to do. They want to bring the future in, because they honestly could win a division if they tried to.
Right.
But I just don't understand like the whole move. But Tua is the man now. Now, as far as fantasy, I would have to wait. It's more of a wait and see approach for me. I would have to see the first game and what he does the first game back. If he's doing what he's doing, because he could come out and lay an egg. And as far as keeping Fitzpatrick, I will hold on to him for a week or two just to see how he plays. Because they may start losing and he may play bad, so they may go back to Fitzpatrick. I know they don't want to, but at the end of the day, if they in contention to actually make the playoffs, Because you got to remember, it's 7 teams that can make the playoffs in the divisions now.
Right.
So they possibly could make the playoffs. That's why I'm like, I don't understand why they went to Tua over Fitzpatrick. It doesn't make sense.
I think it's like you said, they just want to see what they have and get in on this new blood action. But
yeah.
But okay, other than the quarterbacks, what about if you have Preston Williams or Devontae Parker, Matt Gesicki, even Myles Gaskin?
I think Myles Gaskin gets a jump for me because he's gonna rely on the run a lot. For me, because first coming in, like I don't think he's gonna throw the ball 40 times a game.
I wouldn't think so. Yeah, I'm with you.
They gonna kind of mix it up. They gonna blend that running a little bit heavier. So I think Gaskins, he gets a lot of carries. I think it don't hurt Devontae Parker. I think because he's obviously the number one, and Preston gonna get. I think both of them will get theirs. I just think Devontae Parker is gonna be probably force fed a little bit more because that's more security blanket for him. So I can see that, but Gaskins definitely gonna still get his carries. I can see that, but I don't think it hurt him. I just think you got to kind of think a little bit less of him, just a tad bit until you see how it goes.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm probably downgrading everybody until they, like I said, I'm more of a wait and see kind of person. So right now, I'm probably downgrading everybody. I like you said, like a Parker, I'm not gonna bench him. I'm gonna still keep him in my lineup. Gaskins, he might actually get an upgrade. Yeah, like you said, but everyone else, Preston Williams seemed like he was just starting to get right. With Fitzpatrick, so I think it's hurt the most.
I think he's the one that takes a back seat a little bit because Devontae gonna get his. Even Gesicki probably gonna be that guy to get the most targets behind Devontae Adams because when you think about young quarterbacks and tight ends, they kind of blend well. Mm-hmm. So and then Devontae is gonna be the guy that he gonna think about just throwing the ball a lot to. But definitely, Gesicki's definitely going to be that safety blanket and Devontae Adams, too. So
it's going to be interesting to see how they go. So, I guess we'll find they have a bye week to get their lives right, and then I guess we'll see. We'll see what it do.
All right.
Okay. All right, you pick the next one. Oh, hold on. You picked the first one.
Go to the next one. Go
so I'm going to go with the disaster that is the Dallas Cowboys. Right now, we saw them get blown out 38-10 by the Cardinals. We had some unknown players saying that the coaches are totally unprepared. They said they can't teach. They have no sense of how to adjust on the fly. They're not good at their jobs. Meanwhile, Jerry Jones is saying we have personnel things we got to fix, so they got to adjust to the personnel that's there. I'm like, hey, this thing that got hurt, and this thing dumpster fire immediately.
Very quick.
Yeah.
I mean, they already had a bad record anyway before Dak got hurt.
But they're leading the division, so makes sense out of that.
Yeah. I mean, that division's terrible though. That's probably the worst division of football.
Definitely the worst.
It's just, it's funny to me. It's really, I mean, I'm laughing because it's funny as a 49ers fan and in Dallas. It's just like Dalton is not the answer. Dalton looked terrible. He looked so bad the other night. And it was a scratch at the end of the game where they had an 18-play drive. And literally, out of the 18 plays, I want to say it was like 12 plays where they threw the ball on the 2-yard line. Probably like 8 times. And I did not understand the logic behind it because you was on the 2-yard line. Hand the ball off to Ezekiel Elliott and just score and go about your business. You were down big anyway. Why are you trying to do all this extra stuff?
Right.
It didn't make sense to me. And, I mean, maybe he ain't the coach for that team. I mean, they don't – obviously, this is telling me they don't respect him.
Yeah, but that's definitely the case. They had I mean, the coaches are responsible for Zeke with his 2 fumbles, but as a team, they just looked like they weren't ready. And the Cardinals aren't a bad team. So losing to the Cardinals, in fact, I picked the Cardinals to win that game. So that's not the surprise, but how bad they looked.
Yeah, the defense looked bad the whole year anyway.
Yeah,
the defense hasn't been good the whole year. But the offense, the offense was it goes down. I mean, it just shows you. And they made a comment about this during the game. It was like it shows you how much Dak is worth to them.
Yeah. Well,
they're gonna have to pay Dak now.
You had it posted that they're already saying, yeah, we're gonna hit the franchise. We kind of expected they would do the franchise tag on him anyway, just to see what they had. But yeah, they need him there.
And you know what it is? It's $38 million.
Right.
So really, if I was him, I would pull a Kirk Cousins, because this is the same as that thing Kirk Cousins did. I would make my 60-something, 70-something million dollars over the next 2 years, and I would go with it, because that's what he's making, $71 million over the next 2 years with two franchises.
Not bad.
That's not bad after making like
money. Yeah.
$2 million the first couple years.
Yeah.
So I'm not even mad at him. They're gonna have to pay him now because they see what he's worth.
Right.
And they see what he's literally the glue that holds that team together, because they won't have a dysfunction when he was there.
Yeah.
All of a sudden now they have dysfunction.
The offense was the one thing that looked good. So what are you doing with your Amari Coopers and your Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lambs?
Nothing.
You
still play them like you normally. I mean, they still got to play. They got an easy matchup this week. If they don't, I mean, geez.
Hey, I don't know. I mean, I think they beat the Washington football team, but I don't know if it's easy.
They should destroy them. Like, come on now. No. Like, if they don't come out and blow the doors off of them just for losing the way they lost last week, then something is really wrong. Yeah. Because Zeke, and I like what Zeke did. Zeke actually, he took blame for those two fumbles, and he took responsibility for that loss. But I feel like they need to lean on Zeke more.
Definitely.
I mean, it's
just like you're seeing Cleveland try to do with Baker Mayfield. You got to do that same kind of thing.
I mean, because but us, they down 3 linemen now. 3 linemen are hurt.
Yeah,
one of them retired, so it's like they down 4 linemen up from the starting line from last year. So it's like they hurt, and one got retired. So it's like at the end of the day, they have to do something to make it right, and they got to lean on Zeke.
Yeah,
you have to lean on Zeke. You got to get Zeke. You got to get CeeDee involved. So you got to get your receivers involved, but you got to don't let him throw 40 times a game because he's not Dak.
True enough,
he's not. So that's how I feel about it. So,
all right.
This topic I want to talk about
what you got
is boy, look, man, Odell is a wild guy. I just want to say this, man. Odell has been banned from LSU for 2 years.
Right.
They say he gave up $2,000.
Yeah.
To the players or something.
Yeah, after they won the championship, he was down there passing out money.
And then he said something about COVID don't want to come in his body because I'm like, come on. Like, then the whole rant on the sideline, taking the shoes off. And I understand the rant on the sideline, but this is my feeling. I want to get to that first.
Go for it.
Because we know a player that did that 2 weeks ago. And they said he was passionate. He was lighting a fire under them. Mm-hmm. He got the team should be embarrassed because he shouldn't have to do that. We're talking about Tom Brady. Tom Brady did this same exact thing 2 weeks ago, and they said that he was the greatest of all for doing that, which I think is a double standard because when Odell pulls that, Odell's being toxic to the team. He's not doing the right thing. He's not showing leadership. So what's wrong with that? Tom did it 2 weeks ago.
Right. Hey.
What am I missing?
He's not the quarterback. and hey, you get different rules, and it's crazy. I'm with you. When Odell said it, he said other players do it, and when he was saying it at the person, I was like, say Tom Brady, because it was obvious who he was talking about. Well, to me, it seemed obvious who he was talking about. It had to be Tom Brady to do it. But yeah, you see, not just Tom Brady, but you see quarterbacks do it all the time. They go off on the sidelines, and that's just supposed to because they're the leader. But the wide receivers get this diva stereotype where if they're doing it, then they're like Terrell Owens, and they're gonna tear the whole team apart. And I will say it's probably gonna be an issue with that team because I think we've mentioned before that Odell probably doesn't want to be there because he knows who he has as quarterback. So it could be a thing of him just frustrated, and I think he used the words of it was his frustration. which makes me have a little problem with how well that connection is going to go the rest of the year. We'll see if they get over it. But, yeah, there's no doubt there's a double standard that gets thrown out there for multiple reasons.
I mean, this is my thing. Yeah. Like, Odell has a real gripe. Forget the LSU thing. That happened last year. Yeah.
Banned from LSU. Who cares?
Who cares?
Right.
But this is my thing. Your quarterback threw for 119 yards and 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
And he's getting criticized this week by everybody from ESPN to Fox News, to Fox Sports and all that stuff. But you know what he said? I don't care what the critics say. Instead of saying, you know what? I need to take ownership of what I'm doing. Right. I'm playing bad. Odell had 4 targets last week.
That's insane.
4. So Odell has a gripe. Now, if your quarterback don't come on the bench and say, why y'all ain't playing well, what's wrong? We need to get out here and play better. And they looked like complete trash last week against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He's not holding himself accountable.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Why your receiver got to come out and hold you accountable? Doesn't make sense to me.
I'm with you.
But I bet you if Baker would have came out and threw his shoes off and said and did this and that, Baker would have been, see, he's being a leader now.
I don't know about the shoes off thing. I thought the shoes off was kind of weird. But
that was weird.
But the slamming of the helmet and yelling, I get that. And somebody needed to yell at somebody on that team because they look like garbage. And I thought they were going to lose that game, but they just look terrible. There's losing, and then there's looking like you don't belong on the same football field. And that's what Cleveland looked like. Because we already know they're going to be struggling because they have the Ravens and the Steelers in front of them. So you have to at least look respectable. They did not look respectable at all.
See, but the thing with this is they didn't even want to sit beside most teams, like with quarterback struggle, those offensive guys go sit beside that quarterback. They'll look over the plays that they went through from the last series and see what went wrong. They did not want to sit beside Baker Mayfield. They did not want. He sat by himself. So that tells you it's a problem there. So the thing is, if it's a problem there, like you say, is that connection going to be there?
Right.
Because we can go out on a limb and say, hey, maybe they need to trade him. Maybe he need to be somewhere where he can actually get the ball. Because right now he ain't getting it.
Well, this week they play Cincinnati. So the last time those two teams met, it was a real competitive game. I'm thinking they should look a lot better than they did against the Steelers, but I'll save it for our Saturday show in the 40-second play clock. But
I just don't know.
After that thing last week, I'm taking a strong look at the Bengals and whether I want to pick them on this one. So
me too.
Yeah,
because I just don't get it. So I feel like he got a gripe with, but I feel like the media gonna tear him up anyway. Either way you look at it,
they will, because
no matter what. Yeah. And obviously, I mean we're a small media, but I'm not gonna tear him up because I feel like he was being a leader. At the end of the day, what's wrong with that? Because everybody else do it. They did the same thing to Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens would get emotional and go sideline, but Terrell Owens was the bad guy.
Yeah.
No, he was not. Terrell Owens was being emotional because at the end of the day, his team wasn't playing well. He wanted to win. That's all Odell want to do. Odell want to win.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so that's my thing on it. So, but we got one more story.
All right.
And this is more. It could happen during the season, and one could happen on the off season. What the Falcons gonna do with Julio Jones and Matt Ryan?
Hopefully nothing. I want them at least for this season. I need them to stay there for my fantasy football purposes. Yeah. But I would not be surprised if they make a move for Julio Jones, like you said, during the season. I think Matt Ryan probably happens in the off season, if it happens at all. They both have some big money contracts.
Yes,
which might make it a bit of a challenge.
I doubt they get moved.
Yeah.
But it's been rumbling saying that they want to kind of tear the team down pretty much and start. They want to gut it and start fresh, which at this point they should be a top 3 pick this year based on their record. So I mean Trevor Lawrence might be in in their rear view. Who knows? But we don't know. Trevor Lawrence actually came out today and said if the Jets get the number 1 pick, I don't know if that's true, but they said that he said that if he come out and if the Jets got the number 1 pick, he's staying in school.
Hey, if they have the number 1 pick and Adam Gase is still there, I'm with them.
Adam Gase need to get fired. He should have got fired 5 weeks ago. I don't know how
you talked about Patricia in Detroit getting potentially fired. Adam Gase needs to be definitely fired. So
I just don't like. Patricia don't even need to be fired. Honestly, I just think he had a bad shake so far, but he don't need to get fired. They talking about if he loses against the Jazz, he can get fired. I think that's crazy, personally.
Because I think they will lose against the Jags, but.
I mean, we don't know. Matthew Stafford got to play well. We'll see. Yeah. But Gates should have been fired.
Gates, I'm still waiting and trying to understand how he has his job.
Him and the GM should have been fired weeks ago. So, I don't understand why they still have jobs. It's crazy to me.
Yeah. Only the Jets.
Only the Jets. That's why the Jets are trash. But, that's just it is what it is. So, I don't know. So. That's all the news I got for you. You got anything for me?
Well, there's one more piece of why is it news in the Seriously segment. Antonio Brown is coming off. Yeah, coming off his suspension after Week 8, and for some reason, the Seahawks are determined to sign him, despite the fact they already have Phillip Rivers just about to come off of IR, and they have David Moore hasn't been great, but he's been their third wide receiver. Do you add Antonio Brown to your? Well, first off, do you add Antonio Brown to your team if you are the Seahawks? And secondly, you're a fantasy owner. Are you jumping to grab Antonio Brown for your fantasy football team?
No, I could have got Antonio Brown in 2 leagues today. I didn't do it because I feel like he's not going to be a factor as far as fantasy. Because, for one, he's had such a long layoff from football. Right. It's going to take him time to kind of get back in game shape.
Right.
So that's one point. And point number 2 is he's a headache. He's a head case. He's going to tear up a locker room, which I hope he go to Seattle, by the way. Hey, whatever you want to call it. Tear it up, please. I need you to tear all of it up. Let them go 5, lose the rest of their games. For real. So, but on a fantasy standpoint, if you go to Seattle, you got DK, which I don't think he's taking anything from DK, and you got Lockett. He's a third receiver.
Yeah.
For me personally, because those 2 are 1 and 2 in Seattle.
Yeah, there's no way he's gonna supplant either one of those 2. So
no.
To me, why do you bring in Antonio Brown to be your third wide receiver?
Unless he go to Green Bay somewhere, like where he can step in.
I think he's well. Again, I'm going to show my bias because the way he did the Raiders, I don't think he should be. Well, actually, let me backtrack. Because of the person as a human he is, I don't think he should be in the NFL. But on a football level, the way he conducted himself with the Raiders, I don't see why any team would want to pick him up. But there's some that I guess if you're desperate enough, Seattle to me just doesn't seem like they have no reason to do that to themselves.
It doesn't make sense. They 5-0. They 5-0. They don't need him.
What's going wrong where you need him?
Nothing.
That's something the Jets should do because they're the Jets.
But I don't think he goes. He don't go to a team like that. But
he won't.
I can see. They say it's Seattle and a few other teams, but I can definitely Green Bay makes more sense to me than Seattle because Green Bay doesn't have a legit.
Yeah, they're actually missing people because Lazard on IR.
So go ahead.
I was just gonna say we have a comment. Falcons. This is from Anita Bracy. She says Falcons are just like the Braves and the Hawks. Can't win nothing. A major city with 3 major league teams, and the YMCA league has a better record than all 3. What happened? We're a fantasy football team. Talking show. What in the world happened to the Braves in baseball? Yeah, y'all have some serious problems in Atlanta, and it's very much like the Falcons did a couple years back in that Super Bowl where they had the Patriots beaten and then just like, nah, we're done. We're ready to lose. That's when your boy Kyle Shanahan was there.
That's true.
So, yeah, Atlanta's got problems. I guess that's why they're rebuilding. I don't know.
It's funny you bring that up.
Yeah.
They haven't really recovered from that loss.
No, not at all.
So I think that Super Bowl loss is, you know how you have that hangover from the Super Bowl?
Right.
They had like
they haven't been right since.
They haven't been right since. So, I mean,
yeah.
Atlanta, I don't, me personally, I would draft a quarterback and let him get groomed first. Right. I would not get rid of Matt
Ryan has some good years left in him, so I'm with you. Draft somebody, have them learn for pro, and keep it pushing. Julio Jones is another story. I still think I just like the Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. I think with those two guys as your 1-2 combination is great, but I can understand why they might want to move him. But
is the offense the problem though?
Not at all.
I don't think the offense.
That's where they need. If they're going to trade him, hopefully they're trading for some defensive help because
their whole secondary is shot
terrible.
Right now. Like,
terrible.
So to me, it's the defense. It's not the offense.
Yeah.
Like you have Ridley, you have Julio, you got Gurley, you got Russell Gage, you got young receivers with a mix of Julio Jones, with a talented running back and a Matt Ryan who's 36, 37. In the days in the NFL, that's young. Quarterbacks playing at 40, 42 years old.
Yeah, I think he's 35 right now, but he'll be 36 next year, if I remember correctly.
He still got, another 4 or 5 good years left in him? Bring in a quarterback, draft somebody, and groom him. Yeah. Like, I mean, honestly, the kid from Washington I bring him there and let him sit. Yeah. And let him learn from Matt Ryan. I mean, that's an option you can do because obviously they don't want him in Washington.
Yeah.
Trade for him and bring him and let him sit. That's what I would do. Dwayne Haskins might fit perfect there. Who knows? We don't know.
Yeah.
But that's a good landing spot for him. If they're looking for a young quarterback, that may be the route to go. Who knows? Yeah. And he already in the league. He knows how the league works. There's no need. That's what I would do. But I just feel like I wouldn't trade him. Plus, their cap is too much. That money is too much. That money is
going to be a problem.
Yeah, definitely. No.
So, well, yeah, that's all the stories.
That's all we got, people.
So, it's been another great week. Thanks, everybody that had comments and questions. We appreciate them. Join us back here again next Wednesday. We'll be doing it again, and stay tuned for the Saturday show. We'll go through every football game and let you know who you need in your lineup. Like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. What you got?
Hey, you know how I say. We ain't going nowhere.
Nowhere.
So you might as well get used to us. So, definitely.
All right.
But y'all have a good night, though. Definitely.
All right, y'all. Take it easy. Peace.
All right.